morning.
Good morning, peeps. How's everybody? Hope everybody's doing good this morning. We see that it is Friday, and not yet. I'm excited. I'm thinking about the 4th of July. I want a long weekend. I want a long weekend.
You
I
doing
want
too much.
a long weekend. It's been a long week. It's been a long couple of weeks. It's been a long month. Let's put it like that. June has been long, but I was ready for July to come, holiday kickback, sit back, all of that good stuff. But what's up with you this morning? It is Friday. We about to kick it off. We appreciate you guys showing up. Thank you. It's another credible vulnerability moments, and we're kicking it live. Tell us where you're tuning in from in the comments. As always, we want to hear where you're tuning in from. We also want to hear your perspective and your thoughts. Drop those in the comments so we can engage with you and any questions that you may have based upon all of the stuff that we're covering. Want to make sure that you guys put it in the chat. And for those who won't be able to check us out right now live, or you guys check us out on hashtag replay, we also go back, engage with the comments, check out what you got to say, and talk to you in there as well. So now, since I got all the preliminaries out the way, what's going on? Who was that? Richard Bonjour. Bonjour. I know I'm probably saying it wrong. Bonjour. But we appreciate you dropping in.
Buongiorno. Buongiorno.
Buongiorno.
Is
Yeah,
that
yeah, I have to take
Italian?
a French
Let us
accent.
know. Let us know, Richard.
Is it Italian or French? French or something like that. Italian? I don't know. I don't know, but I'm sure he'll let us know. He'll let us know.
You not
He'll
the
let us know.
international man of mystery?
No, I'm just a mystery. It's nothing. It's so international about it. I'm just a mystery. So that's how it
Touche.
works. That's how it works.
Touche,
Yeah,
touche. I
yeah.
wanted to definitely give some shout outs, let y'all know. Make sure you head on over to visit Martin Pratt, one of our amazing LinkedIn creators and friend, the Black Toolbox. Head on over to his site, theblacktoolbox.com. Grab your autograph copy from him, and also visit our friend Russ and Scott at the russhedge.com mastermind. Make sure that you head on over to his site and become part of their community, become part of their groups. These two people are doing amazing things on LinkedIn, and they're always making sure that they're connecting with folks and getting everybody to take action and do things to uplift themselves, just like all of us are trying to do. So head on over to russhedge.com/business dash mastermind. And of course, our amazing Mr. Carl Sean Watkins and his C-suite leadership. Tell the folks a little bit about that before we get to starting the
Yes.
show.
Let's get this show started. Are you ready to be transformed? It's just a simple question that we ask him because I know everybody is ready to be transformed to be a better you. So it's a 4 week intensive. That's it. Just put it plainly. Intensive is the key word here, the Vulnerability Transformation Program, where we walk you through 4 steps of building that leadership, that vulnerability in leadership. So you want to do that. You want to level up. You want to hold back. You want to be the authentic you. You want to be the leader that others want to follow. This is it for you. Are you ready to be transformed? Go check me out at carlsonwatkins.com/VTP. Gotcha.
Yes, yes. And when you need someone to help you with your website, you're not even sure how to use it properly, head on over to Brooklyn Custom Designs. That's BKLYN customdesigns.com/SOS. And you can even hit me up on my text message. Head on over to the number 74121, and you can text message Brand Misfits VIP, and that will also get you a link so you can definitely join me. We have a special one-on-one consultation together and talk about what you can do better for your site. And that's all about mainly what we're going to talk about today. A little bit to get you some more, because we're always exploring opportunities and options for you, right? So through credible vulnerability moments, we talk about the different ways you can use vulnerability, use your website to not only build your credibility, but establish it, help you validate it, and then, of course, sustain it. Because what's the point of doing all this work and you can't even keep it longevity? So, we're going to make sure that we help you think of ideas, brainstorm, and then, of course, learn from us. What do we do? What are some of the things that we put into practice? And our
Absolutely.
today, of course, is hello, you don't even need a website. What? And you know who tells you that? People send you to their website so you can sign up for stuff.
Yes,
Those
people tell you that
people
they
will
have
tell
a
you that
website.
you don't need a website.
Yeah, I was told that by a couple of people that had websites. I said, "What you got on your website?" It's like you don't really need one, but they gave me a website address to go look them up. So I was like,
Exactly.
okay. I was like, yeah, you
Exactly.
need a website.
And
You
I
definitely need a
get a lot.
website.
I hear a lot of that from folks who don't know how to use their websites. They think it's just a blanket calling card, just a way to make some a quick email connection, grab information, and then that's it. No, that's so much that you're missing. You're leaving so much, like they like to say about money. You're leaving so much on the table. You're leaving an opportunity for people to get to know the real you, get to know who's behind this business. What's the purpose of this business? A lot of times you see us sharing so much on social media, but then when it comes to the website, it's dry. We don't have anything there. And this is this huge gap. It's either all business or it's all sales. There's a huge gap there. And as small business owners, we have to really pay attention to that. Bigger companies can afford to do that. Why? They're bigger for a reason. They've probably been doing it for a while. They've come different, they've come through a different path. So their purpose, of course, has been different. That's great. But even then, on that level, you're still finding different avenues for them to still use their websites to get to know them. They have a about page, they have different sections that you learn about what they're doing on the back end, and then they create a community site. A lot of people don't realize that large organizations, businesses, they create community content on their websites. Now that you're seeing where their philanthropy is, how are they connecting to their to the people around them, their neighbors, other businesses that help support the community. So that's how they start to give back, and that's how they show proof that they're giving back. So they don't always rely only on social media to share that part. So as a smaller business, it's easier for you to flip and maneuver around that. So why not take that advantage? Why not take that and use your website for a way to show people that you do more than just business. There's other things to you. That's why I advocate for blogging. That's such an amazing opportunity for you to talk directly to people. Use your story there. Show how you can really be more than just a brand name. Because a lot of times you're a business, you're not always a brand yet. So you want to build up to that. And that's how you also show proof that you're worthy of being called a brand. A lot of folks will tell you, oh, you need to get a trademark. But then when you go through the process, a lot of that is, well, can you show proof of you being worth this brand to protect? Because that's what trademarking is about. You have to actually start energizing yourself to protect it. You have to be vigilant and protect yourself. Is your website showcasing that? Or did you just throw something up so you can tell the trademark people that you have a business? That's not what you should be using your website for. Really use your website. Don't just throw something up. What do you think? What's been your experience, sir?
No, my experience is it's been along the lines of those same things. I was not sure by the website. Well, when I created a website in the very beginning, I created a website. I don't even know if it was a website. I think when you're writing blogs at first, it's pretty much like a blog site, and mine's kind of morphed into that once I start going toward the entrepreneurial way. But I started the blog as an introduction to who I am and what kind of person I am, what kind of values I have, what things I think about, what things are important to me. So in writing that, that became a way for me to voice my creativity on a level that was a free platform for me. It was not, I didn't have to be on nobody's social media. I didn't have to be on, and I did direct people to that, even though it wasn't finished product until I met you, Charlene. It wasn't to that effect, and it didn't morph quite a few times since then, and things have been added based upon what I do. But the key thing about that is it is a canvas for you. It is a canvas that is an extension of, if you have a business, if you're entrepreneur, or if you're in that, even if you're artist or whatever, genre or industry you're in, it's an extension of a business card for you. It's an extension of someone being able to be in a relationship with you without knowing you, because a lot of times we can't curate those relationships as far as talking, conversations, Zoom, or what have you. But people can get a gist of who you are by just going through your website, because your website should be crafted to tell a story. It should be crafted to tell what you do, who you're like, what kind of things you like to do, what kind of things you're interested in. All of those personality traits should be within that website. So I see, and I think we've talked about this quite a few times, when you see people on social media and you see a whole lot of things about them, and you see a well-rounded individual, and you go to the website and it's dry as potato chips, and you're like, how is these two people the same one? So the semblance and the semblance of it is what you want it to come across the board. And what other great place to do that is a website. That is your initial, that is like, that's your home. Like, social media is not your home. At any point in time, when they get tired, they can evict you. LinkedIn does it a lot with LinkedIn jail. At any point in time, when they get tired of you, algorithms get tired, they can lock you down, and then you have no access to anything you've created. But
Yeah.
on your website, that is your home. You have the key. So anytime that you want to add, anytime you want to update, anytime you want to put things on, make it fancier, dumb it down, however you want to do it, you can do that at any point in time. And that's a luxury that I think a lot of people don't really put the importance on, or even take for granted, so to speak. Because some people just have a website, like you said. I got a website so I can tell you that if I'm giving you something, or I can tell you that it doesn't curate the individual you are. And then you look on it sometimes, you say, well, why nobody's coming to my website? Why nobody's doing anything on my website? Are you telling anybody
Facts.
doing anything on your website? Have you given them some kind of personality to know who they're dealing with on your website? Or is your website driving a lot of stock pictures? So, those are the
Yes.
things you have to
Yes.
really realize.
Because I get thousands of views and visits, and I have hundreds of people downloading. So I see the progression, because I was at the same position. That's why I constantly say this: give people a reason to stick around, and give
Mhm.
people a reason to do stuff on there, and come back. I know, like, it's so important for us to say we're doing something for business, we're in business, let's do this, and let's build something, right? But then when you create your website, you don't have a game plan, you don't know what you want to do with it. It's just there, and then you're telling people, oh, sign up, and then they leave, and then you're wondering, okay, well, should I keep sending people? Yes. You always keep sending people to your site, no matter what the reasons are. You always keep sending people there. But you also make sure that once they're done with one thing, you're redirecting them to something else. You're giving them other things to look at. Like Carl said, when he started out, it was more like a blog feel. And when we worked together, we first thing we sat down and we figured out what is the purpose, and that's where we will start off with our first thing. Your first action item for today: make sure you start to develop a game plan. What's the purpose of this? As you're starting to build that credibility, you're vulnerable on your site. Why not? Why not be vulnerable there? That's the one place that you can control the variables of, to a degree. So you can actually start to use vulnerability on your site. Get a little bit into your story about why you started your business. Why is it that you're actually bringing people onto your site? That's part of your game plan. Decide right now, why do you want to put a site together? Why do you want to put a website together? And what's the type of content you want to create? And I'll use consultants and speakers, since Carl is one. So I'm going to use you guys as an example. As a consultant and a speaker, those are two different realms, but they also go together well. When you're consulting and you're helping people through, and you're giving them these opportunities to get better, and you're giving them opportunities to think about what their steps are going to be and how they can get through these processes, You also are now on the stages of different organizations. You're going into either corporations or you're going to places like TED Talk, and you're speaking about your experiences. That's a lot of reasons why people are speakers. They're sharing their stories on a stage. So not only are you vulnerable, but you're building your credibility through your story, right? So now, if you're going to be a speaker and you're going to be a consultant, you have a website to show people this is what I've been doing for a while, right? You saying that you've been in the game for 10 years, 20 years, that's one thing. But now you need to start showing that you've been doing something for that time. And as a speaker, one thing that I've always realized people are messing up with is they're not capturing those moments. And if they're capturing them, they're blurry photos, or the video is choppy, or it's moving all around, it's all wobbly, and they're like, let's put this on the site. And I'm like, do we want to? And my first inclination is no. And why do I say no to that? You want to put your best foot forward when you're creating these websites. So when it comes to your headshot, yeah, you can take it with an iPhone, but unless you have a person with a good eye who can give you good lighting, good space, and really frame you in the photo well, there's no reason to even take it with the iPhone. But my first and main idea for you, whenever you're talking about a headshot for your website, go to a photographer. Get someone who is that's their passion, that's what they do, and they want to make sure that when they take that photo, you're looking great. And why is that? Because now you are a representative of their work. So you want to go to somebody who's going to care enough to take care of how you look, how you're being represented. So that's why I always say go to a photographer. Start planning out, who do you want to work with? Who do you want to have on your team to help you bring your website alive and allow it to represent you properly? So if you're not a great writer, start looking out for people who say they're writers, who say that they create content. And when you start to do that, ask questions. What type of content do you do? Do you write for blogs? And the reason why you want to ask those questions is because if you need someone to help you build a blog on your site, especially for a business site, but you want to have some fun with it, or you want it to be informative or professional, you want to make sure that the person you're working with understands how to write for those different aspects, because an article writer for a newspaper website or a newspaper print is way different than somebody who's going to write for a business blog. So you want to make sure that they understand that. And then, of course, same thing with the photographer. If you have a company where you're creating food dishes, you have a restaurant, or maybe you have apparel, you want to create merchandise. You want a photographer who can capture those items, because taking photos of a plate of food is way different than taking photos of a human. Right? And the same thing for me. I'm dark skinned, and when I'm looking for a photographer, I need them to be able to capture my essence without me being overshadowed, or not in the right light, and I'm way brightened up, and like I don't need that. So, and I've been blessed to find photographers like that. So when you're looking for someone, make sure you know exactly what you need from them, and you can articulate that too, because that's another thing. You want to be able to articulate your game plan to the people who you are expecting to help you pull it all together. What's been your experience like with that, Carl?
No, the game plan is essential, and I don't think, um, and this could be a broad brush, but I think it still covers a lot of people that's involved. When you
Hmm.
have the idea of the website, uh, we've seen websites, right, and I don't think the people really knowledgeable enough to really know what goes into a website. Just to be honest, if we could just really be honest about it, when we think about a
Right.
website, we think about those that are already been established, those that we're shopping from, those that we've seen, even like doctor sites, hospital sites, those ones that are really a reoccurrence in our life throughout. We see those are established sites. So essence of what we have And as what a website is far from what a website is. Because when I started with the website, I did GoDaddy because GoDaddy had a commercial on every 3 or 4 commercials they was on with the website. So I figured it was just one of these ingenious things that you could do, a DIY, do it yourself, that you could just jump on and do and just post things. And it is so much further than the truth than that. And they make it look that simplistic, and they make it that looking like it's so involved, and even the kid can do it. Website for dummies, the whole nine, right? But the experiment of the website is just that. It's got to be an experience, and in that, you've got to develop the game plan, and it takes thinking. It actually takes throwing off on other people. It's not nothing. Even in developing a game plan, which I thought my game plan has changed 3 or 4 times on my website because I start doing different things. I start talking to different ones. I got better vision. Things open up to me. I saw how this look and that look. So website is ever changing. It's ever changing, ever evolving kind of things. Not necessarily changing your foundation, the core values of things that you do and operate in, but they're changing the looks, the feels, the styles. Pictures are important. I've been trying to do that for the longest. I got my website up, and right now I only got a few good pictures on there that I'm okay with putting on there. That's some standard to where I already accept for this point in time. But I got a few people that didn't flake me on trying to take pictures, and we just missing each other. Not flake me, I shouldn't say that. You guys are still good. We still good. But we missed each other as far as appointments and those things to actually take professional photos. Those are the things that you really want to curate and put in your game plan. Because the simple fact that they're not in there, it shows on your website. I can't go and negotiate a contract as a consultant for $15,000 to $20,000 to come speak at a corporation, and they look at my website and they see pastries, or they see pasted pictures, or they see some of the iPhone when I'm in the dark with the shade, and I'm looking like, or either my glasses. A lot of times photographers have to really get that little sparkle in your glasses. Those kind of nuances where you, as not a professional, don't think it's anything. It's not a glaring thing to you. But if someone looking for you for a service, those are nuances and minute things that they look at to say, okay, what kind of person is this? Is this something that your attention to detail will catch? So in the essence, if you're doing something for me, I know you'll catch those things that's beneficial to me. So these are all part of developing a game plan. A game plan ain't just a strategy that I have and say I want to consult or I want to speak. So let me throw up some speaking YouTube videos. Got to be a strategy about that. The parts of the clips that you want to verbalize and say the things that you want. Or is it one of those clips where you are talking fast and you're not enunciating your words where no one can understand you? It's a whole lot to it. So when you think about it, you have to sit down. And I say sit down with someone. I tried for the longest to do it myself. And I am a prime example of that. I could talk about myself and tell on myself because I don't care. I've kind of graduated. I came to a place of realization to say you can't, because all of the things that you think you see that are perfect to you are not to the other eyes. And you need that other eye to say, Carl, that right there, maybe that should be capitalized. Maybe that should say less. Maybe that content should be a little shorter. Maybe that video should be a little longer. You need people to tell you that, because when we put stuff together, us as us, we think, oh man, that's good, that's great, I'm looking good. No, you're not always looking good. Let somebody tell you about yourself every now and then.
Exactly. And I want to say this is Rory because I see LinkedIn user. Is this,
Yes,
I think this
yes, I
is
think
his
that's right.
question. Because I saw a couple of questions here, and one is, are we talking about business sites or brand sites or personal? I'm talking about all of them because
Yeah.
all of them need a game plan, no matter what type of site you are, because that's how you understand what type of site you need to build. If you sit down and say, okay, what's my purpose for this website? It's for business. Okay. It's for brand authority, brand recognition. Okay. I need a brand site. It's personal site. Maybe I want to build something built around my name, or I just want to blog and I want to build myself as a credible blogger. Then it can be a personal slash brand site because both of those can go together. You want to make sure that what your outcome is represents what you really wanted to have people know you for. And like Carl said, his ideas were changing, his plans were changing, and that's as it should be. Who starts a business with a business plan? God, hopefully you have a business plan, But when you have a business plan, you say, you know what, I want to start, and I just want to help my community. I want to build more rapport with my community, and I want to make sure that kids are able to eat lunch, a hot lunch every summer. So you start that, right? And then before you know it, you start to see that, wait a minute, I can probably expand this program that I'm doing. It was just a small neighborhood program, but maybe I can now expand it. I'm getting people's attention, and I have community organizers wanting to work with me. I have government officials wanting to work with me. So now what you do, you don't ditch your site. You just now expand on your site. So now you're giving different stories, backgrounds of how you started, why you started. And then, of course, if you're an organization, this is how you can contact me. If you're a government official, contact me this way. If you too would like to start your own neighborhood um, resource, this is how you can contact me, or go to my blog and see some how tos or whatever. Those are the different avenues now that you're expanding on a smaller idea that you had when you started your site. So that's when I say game plan, that's exactly what I mean. It can change, as it should, because as you grow, your business should grow. As your business grows, your brand starts to evolve. So that's all that's going to start reflecting on your site. And you want to make sure that that's what you're doing. And I saw that he also asked, what's the best CMS? CMS is content management system. And I'm always a WordPress lover, WordPress.org. And why am I a lover of that? Because I get to have flexibility, and it's at a reasonable investment. I'm not hit with surprises. And when you're on certain platforms that you do not control, Webflow, you have some control, but you don't really control the back end of a lot of that. Same thing with Wix. You don't control a lot of that. I like to have as much control as possible, but I'm a developer, and I can get into the databases. I can do things that I need to do. If something happens, I can have those conversations, and I can do that. So I always say to people, get on a platform that you feel comfortable with. Now, this is going to be part of your game plan. Are you managing this platform yourself? If you are, then get on a platform that, one, you can understand, and definitely get on a platform that that you can also help people get that resource with, right? So if you can help update it yourself, maintain it, do things like that, then get on those type of platforms. If you're going to get on a platform that that you want to if you're going to get on a platform that you want others to help you with, then make sure that it's a platform that they know how to handle, because at that point you don't care how to manage it per se, but you wanted to make sure that whoever's going to help you, they are comfortable with that. So that's how you really choose the platforms on that level. The next level to that would be, what do you need that platform to do for you? Right? A lot of times we thinking of, oh, okay, this is cost this low this cost is lower for maintenance. It's like $20 a year. Okay. But then what can the platform do? Do you want to host your own videos? I don't always recommend that, but some people, they have like 2-second videos. They want to throw it on their site. They have like their little audios. They want to put it on their site, and they want that speed. Then you have to invest in that speed. Can that platform allow you that? Or can that platform even allow you to expand and integrate with another platform where you can just embed YouTube quickly? You don't even need to put in a code. You just literally put in the link to your video, and everything pre-populates, and it just shows up as a player. You don't have to worry about that. Or you can just literally embed a link to a PDF, and it shows up like a book. Some platforms are now integrated that way, that they do that for you. And WordPress has been one of them. So you really want to understand, what is it that this platform is known for? What are they good for? What's their strengths? A lot of them will say they can do everything. They can become your genie, and that's a lie. They just want that money. They want you as part of that list. But if they can't support a store, maybe you are an e-commerce person and that's where the bulk of your drive is, but you also want to integrate a blog. A lot of platforms are not there for blogging. WordPress has was created for blogging, and it has expanded. So it does e-commerce, it does blogging, it does podcasting, it does courses, it does all of those, and it does them well, with the core base of it being SEO and blogging. And because that's where a lot of people, it makes it easier for them to update their sites through blogs. That's why WordPress has always been my number one go-to. It's been flexible. It's fine tuned when it comes to um, mobile ready and all of those things. A lot of that has been redone since a couple of years back. They rebuilt the core of it, so they've paid attention to a lot of that. So that's just my take on that. As you are creating these spaces for yourself and you're building out these different opportunities for you to really create your business and expand on your website, you want to definitely make sure that you know, why is this platform being recommended. Some people, they will only recommend a platform because they're getting affiliate money. And I'm gonna keep that 1000%. Right? Shopify, you can use Shopify and get used to it because it's an e-commerce. Maybe you just want to learn the back end. You want to just get something up and running. Learn what an e-commerce store should be doing for you. How can you create it? And then literally you can rebuild that in WooCommerce through WordPress. But now you know what to expect. You know all the caveats to look out for. A lot of people, they don't pay attention to that. They just like, oh, this is simple. Let me get it up and running, and I don't care. And then when things aren't flowing, because even if you're on Shopify, that doesn't make you an instant superstar on Shopify. You're not selling like hotcakes out there. So you still have to learn something. Same thing with Wix. Everything is a learning curve, and people are like, oh, I don't want to know anything. You have to know at least the basics. You have to. There's no going around that. Because if you don't understand the basics, you can easily get scammed. And my purpose is not to allow you to get scammed. I want you to know the questions to ask so you understand what to look out for and what to expect. Because if someone's going to help you with their website, then you definitely want to make sure that they know what they're talking about and that they can help you achieve what you need. Because a lot of this, no matter how great a developer or designer can be, a lot of this is not going to help you if you are not driving traffic to your own site. Just because your website is up doesn't mean it's just going to bring all this traffic to you. You still have to do some work, and marketing is going to be a part of that. No matter what platform you're on, you have to market your site. You have to build the credibility to go to your site. And part of that is making sure that your content matters. And
Yeah, you got.
yes, go ahead. Go ahead, Carl. I'm sorry. I was just
Yeah,
looking through.
you have, and you have to be a big you have to be a big part of that. It has to be a hands-on thing. And when I say hands-on, I don't mean you taking over the project, but I mean you have to drive the boat in that, or drive the ship in that, or whatever vehicle it is that you want to reference to, because it's your website. So you want the strategies and you want those things in place that says it's you. Because a lot of times, and I've worked with a couple of people that I've given them my ideas concerning what I would like to have on there, and I look at the site, and a lot of it is the direction of which they wanted to take it with their creativity. And a lot of times those things, you sort of get lost in the sauce with that, because you don't know a lot, or you're not mentally sound in what it takes, or you're not the developer, or you're just a Joe Schmo, so to speak. Hate to use that term so loosely, but you're just a Joe Schmo who wants to get your stuff that you do, that you create, that you do as a job, or a business. You want to get that out so people can visibly see it, but you don't really know how to do that. And that's how I was when I first came into my own too. You have to do some homework. That the onus is on you to do some as well. Because I got taken a couple of times with some website people, and like I was like, yeah, you gotta be kidding me, man. And I look back on the stuff, and then I talked to other ones and said this happened, that happened. He was like, oh, you have to do this and this and that. You have to pay that out. You have to pay that. If you don't start doing the homework on your own things, believe me, everybody wants a buck, regardless of how genuine they are with helping you. It's only going to go to a certain extent. Everybody's not doing everything for everybody for free. So, in essence of that, when you have these kind of conversations, when you have these kind of shows, when you have these kind of opportunities available to you, which I've done on a constant for the past almost 3 years now of engaging, I take notes at these shows. I go to these shows and hear what people have to say. This is not a retribute or anything like that or anyone else, but I say it's available to me with the free knowledge and value that people are offering. So when I'm hearing these kind of talks or I'm at these kind of shows and platforms, even when I was earlier part and thinking about starting my own live stream, I listen to some of the things what people saying and they drop keywords like Wix and WordPress and those things I had never heard before because I was not in the industry of doing these on my own. I started looking those up. I started seeing what they do. I started seeing if what they do is what I need. Because a lot of times people say, oh, you want to start a live stream? You need this, and that. And you like, oh man, and then you start looking at how much stuff costs, and you like, oh, I didn't know it did all of this and that. No, you don't need to have $6,000 worth of equipment to do a live stream right now. What you have to do is have all of the things intact. What is your live stream for? What's the purpose behind it? What's the strategy of what you're trying to do with it? These are things that you can develop without any pay or without paying anything out. These are things that you can develop based upon what you are, who you are, I'm sorry, and what you do. All of those things are part of the game plan in the essence of that. So the website is a necessity because it's free currency for you. No, I'm not saying you don't pay for it because you do pay, wherever the source is or where it's on, or the platform that it's on, you do pay that, but that's just like paying Netflix. It's just like paying Hulu. You paying them, but in the essence of that, Netflix and Hulu is giving you what they want to see. On your website, you're paying that and you're giving others what you want them to see. And that is where the currency comes in with having a website. So you want to have those people to bring it to you to say, okay, you got a website. Let me see what you have. Let me take you through. The about session should not be a whole resume concerning you. I've seen some about with some
Amen.
speakers and some consultants. They gave me the whole thing from Harvard Review to, I'm like, okay, but what they got to do with what I need be done? I mean, you telling me you 30 years in the business and you this and that. I see no personality. I see a resume that I'm seeing that what you've done in the resume form. I don't see no videos. You tell me you're a speaker. You tell me you got TED Talks. You told me you got all of these. I look on your website. I see photos of you, stills of you. I see pictures of you on the beach. I see pictures of nothing referencing what you just told me you could do. So all of these things when you're developing a game plan it's very important. And I've only learned these things, guys, over the past 2 years. Just working with Charlene, I've learned them. So I can talk to you now like I got a little confidence in it because once she gave me stuff, I ran with it and did homework. I
And
ran
that
with it.
and that's what I want. That's what I like to see, right? I like to see clients like Carl who after understanding it, and that's my purpose, right? Yes, I can do it for you, which I'm happy to do, but I want you to understand why we're doing things. So if I'm asking you for things, you understand. That's what the strategy is all about. That's what the website strategy is all about. And then you can confidently speak to others, and then you can speak up for yourself. So if someone else comes up to you and say, hey, Carl, I can do this and this for you, Carl knows already. Oh, well, what about this, and what about this, and da da da. And
Yeah.
then that person now they're put on the hot seat in a sense of, okay, yes, we can do this, no, we can't really do that. They can tell you better. So then
And then they'll be truthful. Then they'll be truthful. Not to say that everybody's a con. I don't want to. I don't want to put it in that
right,
premise.
right.
But when you don't know
They
what you're
don't know
talking
all
about,
the
it's just
time.
like my sister had to go to the car dealerships, and they tell her everything. I told her the first couple of times she went as a young kid, just a young woman, lady with a vehicle, and she had to get stuff done. They would go to the dealership and tell her she had to have $6,000 to $7,000 worth of stuff done. I say, tell them to write it down and you come back with me. So she would bring the stuff back. She's like, no, I'm not getting anything done. I'm gonna let my brother see it. So we come back, they need to change a plug. You get a $7 plugs from AutoZone or one of those places, and you put it in, and it's behind here. you look up that stuff, and I would say her that she was like, "Well, man, I would have paid all that money." I say, "Yes, it's not that they're not being truthful, which totally they are, but they're in business. So when people are in business, they have to find ways to continue that business. And does those practices be immoral at points of times? Yes. But now you can come to me with a website before. Now that I talked to Charlene and I know what I'm talking about, you can't come to tell me you could do this, this, and that, and I know for a fact that you a fever and you're a logo designer and you don't have none of that in your information. I know you can't do that. And then I'm gonna know what to ask you to see if you can do that. And that's what helps you out in the long run as far as delving in. You don't have to be the expert on the subject matter, but you have to know a little bit what you're talking about, else you're gonna get fleeced.
Yes, and he meant Fiverr.
Fiverr, fever.
Yes, just in case
All right,
folks
y'all, my
going out
Fiverr
there, they
people
looking
out
for fever. They be like, "What?" Okay, but he did be Fiverr, and it's true because there's a lot of
there.
legit people on Fiverr, but you just got to know how to
Mhm.
look for them and know
Just
what
look
to
them up.
ask for.
Absolutely.
And then a question was asked: What are my thoughts on WordPress? Recent issues with security issues and the plugin desync. And he also does not like Shopify because it's pushed by people who get paid for it. Yes, I know. But I would
That's
say,
Rory.
and he said that it's not always in the best customer interest, which is true. I would definitely say WordPress out the gate, when you first set it up, it's secured. You don't have to worry about too much with WordPress. The security issues come in where you're implementing plugins, themes, any other attachments to it. Even when you're embedding sources like YouTube links or those little embed codes from any place, right? Those are open gateways to hackers, external folks, external other platforms into your website. So if you don't add another layer of security to make sure that things are running smoothly and you know what to look for, then you're going to run into problems. I always think just make sure that you're on top of it. I have my security plugins reach out to me every single time there's a breach. And I also use a service called Web Totem. That's another security that looks out for everything. Make sure that anything, if there's code that was touched, I also look for if there are any requests being made on my back end because I changed the entire back end. So if someone's trying to hack into that, it gives me alerts and it sends me emails at 8 in the morning, and I see all the alerts that might have come in, and that goes for any site that I manage. And I also have another service that is called Hexometer. I have Hexo Watch, and I also have Hexometrics. And all of those in their own ways do the same thing but on different levels. So I also have that where if anything, if it's an HTML code, if it's a CSS, if it's PHP, if it's a script, if anything changes, those platforms tell me. So they are like it's like a double triple up of telling me what is happening on these different sites. Are there any codes that are being touched on the front end and the back end? So now I can see full circle what's happening on the different sites, and those have been game changers for me tracking because I get reports, and then I get weekly reports and I get daily reports. So I see overall this is what's been happening. These are things that have been averted, and then if I need to go in, I jump on and I update things. So a lot of times that's been when I had to do it manually, those were busy times for me, but you have to be careful. So when it comes to security plugins, you want to make sure that you're going to something that's reputable. You want to make sure that they've been around for a while. And if even if they're new, you want to make sure that you can reach out and someone is responding to you in a timely manner. Now, for me, timely manner, if I don't hear back from you in 48 hours, then we got a problem, right? And why do we have a problem? Because if it's a security breach and it's based on your software and I'm reaching out to you and you're not reaching back within 2 days, we have a problem. And that's 2 business days, because depending on where we are located, hour changes, time differences, and of course, weekends. I want to take all that into consideration. But if there is a breach now, either and let's say I don't know how to fix it. I'm depending on my security people, these plugin creators, to be the ones to do that. And one thing about WordPress, what they've been trying to really work hard on is they've been going through their different plugin creators and theme creators, and they've been asking that they create in a way that the software and the code that is used is valid and reputable. So we want to make sure that we are looking out for these. Look out for the reviews. If you see a bunch of 5 stars and nobody's saying anything under those 5 stars, question that plugin, because most people, especially if you've been in this, you've been working on your website, you cherish your website, you're going to give a feedback. You're like, oh my god, they were great, their customer service, they responded quickly, da 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 da. And why is that? Because we too, that's what we look for when we're looking for reviews and feedback. We want to know, well, why did you give it 5 stars? What's so beautiful about this? So you want to keep that in mind. And Alexandra said, is there a way to automate your live streams to upload on your website? There are a lot of platforms that help you do that through either embedding a code, and one of them, it has been Restream. Restream just recently did this to allow you, I want to say, as a business. I want to say it's as a business subscriber, that you can take a code and embed it to your website. So every time you go live, it will go up there. YouTube has a live link, but I'm not sure. I think that changes as you create your lives. But YouTube does have an opportunity to have a live. So you just have to get the code and put that on your site, depending on the platform that you're using. So be mindful too. That's another thing. If you're using new software and new programs, make sure that they can use that and they can actually help you create what you have in your mind. A lot of times it takes me a minute to create something, because what's in my vision, the technology just might not be there yet. And then if I look long enough, people are working on it, but it's not perfect. It's not the best thing, right? So it's really can you deal with the imperfection of this, or can you wait and just do the workaround? And a lot of times the workaround is just to send people to your live location and then upload the video later when it's ready. So that's a lot of that. So yes.
Absolutely.
And I'm glad that you said that, Diana. A lot of times that's exactly what gets people coming back to your site. Keywords. People are so insistent on just creating stuff randomly that they're not saying, okay, well, is there a space for this? Are people even looking? If people aren't looking for it, and if you're not pushing for them to look for you, then what's the point of you creating content that nobody's going to go and find? So it's a multitude of things that are going to happen. You can push out ads all day, but if you're not updating your content and your website to entice people to stay, then what's the point? You are the creator. Don't depend on a developer and a designer to create your content. They're there to create your website. Those are two totally different bags. And if they have people who can do that for you, it's not going to be embedded in a $90 proposal. So that's something to understand, the expectations you have of investing in your business and in your brand. You want to make sure that you have that. So
Or even
yes, a lot of
understand.
people have. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Carl.
No, I was just saying, and even understand the expectations of yourself, because a lot of times we think that when someone comes with that fiber, not fever, sorry about that. When people come from those areas, we think because they know one part of technical that they know all the parts of technical, and that's just look at it from your perspective as you being who you are and what is your subject matter. Just because you're an expert consultant doesn't mean you can consult on everything. So that's, you have to also use that kind of knowledge and thinking when you get in these, because a lot of times you get in girls, oh man, they on fiber, or they on, I'm just using fiber, I'm not picking on them, I'm just using them because they're well known with a lot of people, and especially on LinkedIn there are a lot of them on here, that's freelancing. So when you look at them and see them, and you see that, you get into the connotation of, oh well, they can build my website, they can put things together, they can package it. No, I had the first person that did my website besides me. I gave them stuff. They plugged in. That's what they did. My website had no strategy, and it wasn't their fault because what I gave them, they just put together, right? So I had a coaching and consulting website with pictures, beautiful picture arrangements, as if I was a photographer, right? So they took all the pictures I gave them, they took the content, the little patches of content I gave them, and they made a beautiful site. But they had no story, it had no structure, and they didn't say nothing about what I did. It's except for reading it. So you would see these beautiful pictures, and Charlene is a testament to that because that is her one thing that she told me. She said, "Are you consulting or are you a photographer? Because you got beautiful pictures on here of all
And
kind of
nothing to say.
things and nothing to say." So so
Nothing to
when you
say.
look at when you're looking for that as part of that, all of that comes into play. Even though if you're not so much into the servers and all of the things that make it tweak, or all of the things that secure it, or if you don't know those kind of things, there's people to help you with those kind of things to do that. But make sure you have where it's going. It's first and foremost doing what you want to do, because websites is just like Google. You can look up one thing, you can do way down a rabbit hole and be drowning, and that's just drowning physically, knowledge wise. You can also be drowning in money wasted, because a lot of
Mhm,
things you said that you wanted to do, or someone sold you on, you
mhm.
didn't even need them. They wasn't even for you, but you got all that on your site and you don't even know what to do. You can't even go back and update. If you change the date on
That
one of
part.
your webinars and you want to go into it and update it, they didn't put so much stuff on there that you can't even yourself, and it's your site, go back and update it, because they'll lock it where you got to have them come back and do things. This is just what it is. So we just want you to be aware of those things. Not saying everybody's out here crooked, but if you straight, everybody be straight with you. So you got to understand that much.
Yeah, so and as we get the game plan in, now you want to showcase your credibility and your value on a consistent basis and on your terms. Stop chasing them algorithms all the time. Stop
Oh my
it.
God,
Focus
please.
first on building on your site and then start sharing that out. Because of course, once you have the content, it's easy to create that a lot of times. You can, like Carl and I, we created a ton of video content, a
Mm-hmm.
ton, right? But while we were doing that in the beginning, we were working together to make sure that, okay, is this looking right? Is this what we want to do? And even when we started real talk, we already know, okay, this was just a starter, but we have so many ideas. Now we can start implementing the ideas, which we've been working on for what, another year with our
Yeah.
plans and our ideas. So it's
Yeah.
really, what is it that you're going to do? What can you pull off quickly,
Mm-hmm.
and then whatever needs to take time, you can still work on that in the back end, but you want to consistently showcase what do you bring to the table, and then you want to be able to you want to be able to demand how it looks. So if you don't want ads on your site, you don't have to have ads on your site. Or if you create ads, they can be all for you. All the ads
Yeah.
that you have can promote all your upcoming events, all your upcoming shows, right? Your upcoming products. That's what your site can be, your avenue for ads. So that's what you want to make sure that you're creating is a consistency. You want to match what you're doing on social. You want to match what you're doing in your emails. You want to match.
And you want it to be, the website is your sales page, regardless whatever that is you're offering. It's an
Mhm.
opportunity for you for to showcase your skills, to showcase your services, to provide people into a glimpse into who you are. I mean, it's just like the freest advertisement that you can get. Why would you go on Instagram? And this is no downplay, but I just put this out there. Why would you go on Instagram and Facebook and pay for those ads, right? For them to be paying to talk about you. We have a website that you can build to just talk about you and what you
And you don't
offer,
talk about you.
and you don't talk about you. So you go on Instagram now, Instagram page. Oh my God, you got the pretty little ads, you got the people jumping out, you got the stuff they're saying, you got the parades, the whole nine, right? You just kicking it up. It's like a three ring circus on your Instagram account with a whole lot of things going on. And I say, oh, okay, I might want to work with them. They got so much stuff going on over here. Then you go to the website, and the website, well, I'm hearing crickets. It's like, man, I'm dying. Yeah, cricket, cricket, cricket. That's all you're hearing is the legs scratching together.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on with the website? And this is your opportunity to put all of those things that you paid Instagram to put their bells and whistles on. You can have that on your page constantly. And there's no
Hmm.
dates to end that, right? Because when you do ads on those other places, what they give you, you got time frames, right? I'm gonna run that ad for $500 for 30 days, or however they do it. I'm just using them. And okay, at 30 days, if you ain't attracted who you want to attract, then you got to redo that. But on your website, you're already paying for it on the platform that you want. Just put everything on there that you want to put on there. I would make that
Hmm.
thing gonna sing my name. When you open it and click on carlshawnwatkins.com, it comes up. Ah, comes up singing. Say your website to
Yes.
me. It should be singing your
Yes.
praises.
Yeah, and what Diana
If
said
it's
is,
free,
if
it's
it's
for me.
free, it's for me. Now,
Yeah,
see,
I hear
I
you,
I would
Diana.
say also, yeah, be careful because Rory also said, be careful with the free stuff. If it's cheap, you got to be careful, and it's true because I always say, the free usually comes out expensive. And what does that mean? When it comes to web development, you take the free route all the time. Everything that you're doing is free. Your email list building is free. Your marketing is free. Your content creation is free. All of that's
Free, free,
free.
free, free.
But it's not really free. You paying something. You paying in time, you paying in mental capacity, you paying in physical capacity. Because if you have to do everything, then it becomes a problem. And you're
And
and you're not really able to enjoy your life. So you got to be careful about that. You can't
yeah,
show up consistently if you burnt out.
free
You
comes with
can't.
a price. I'm glad you mentioned that because there are some things that you can utilize free. That Canva is a big one. I think Canva now. Before the pandemic, I never saw a commercial for Canva. I have been familiar with it. I had seen it myself in the job sectors, but there were no commercials about it. Actually, before the pandemic, I saw no commercials about LinkedIn as well. But since the pandemic, I've seen them with actual spending advertising money. Now that they're doing that and they're doing commercials. When I first got to Canva, they gave you a lot of things for free. Okay, but then when the pandemic came in, everybody started using it. Now it's a lot of stuff you go in there. It's that little gold crown. You got to go pass free. It's certain stuff you can't use. And now the funny thing about it is they've taken away all of those good things and put them up on a paid thing where it used to be
Yep.
free before nobody knew about them. So now when you go into free, yeah, you can be free, but just think of the free when you go on all of these sites that all of us are using because they're only
Mhm.
platform these platforms, all of us, not just you, 800 million people just use the people that's on LinkedIn. If everybody wants to do websites, it's only 5 or 6 places you can go do websites. And so that's nameable, reputable that people use or either will recommend, right? And you got all of these canvas that people recommend to make their flyers, their presentations. So all of this, now everybody using this. So if everybody use it free, how yours gonna look different? Because they only give
Mm.
you so many platforms to play with in the free. So after a while, you're gonna have to do that. But you have to pick and choose your investments. This is not about spending a lot of money. It's also always continue to say what's in your game plan. If that's something that you started on, I started at that point. Then I wanted to delve out a little bit. Then I went to the next level in that. But you always have to do that feasible to what you want to do, feasible to what you can do, and definitely feasible to what's affordable to do. And some of those things you're gonna have to look past affordability. You're gonna have to look at an investment. And when I started to go to law school, I say, I'm going to make an investment in myself. No, do I have the money to go pay it right out and be done? No, I don't. So I know it's going to take some sacrifices somewhere, some way. But I know in the long haul or the long thought process of things, it's going to benefit me. And that's how you have to look at it on your website. In the long haul
Mhm.
of it, because you don't build a website for it to be 2 days and then you're going to take it down. You're going to evolve in
Hopefully.
that you've made, yeah, hopefully you've made the commitment to say, okay, this is the business I have. This is the way I want to present it. This is how I want people to see it. So in the essence of that, that's going to grow. Remember when Amazon only sold books? Now look at their website, right? Their website sell everything and they got everything. Not to mention that you may not give it like that because Charlene tell me there's a lot of little backdoor stuff working where your stuff will probably never work like that on your website. But it's just the
Oh,
essence of the example. When they started, they was just a book club. They just started book clubs, and then they started getting people's buying habits, and they start doing it. Your website should evolve as that such. Those analytics, so Google workshops, those things that come with those are for you to plan for sustainability. Because we talk about sustaining and validating, right? So those things are sustainability and validating yourself. Say, okay, this is working. This is not working. Okay, how can I do this so I can sustain myself? How can I be past this blizzard of everybody want to be an entrepreneur because the pandemic pushed people out the workplace, out corporate. So how can I do that so when the cream is rising, I'll rise to the top? And all of these are things that you want to showcase your value consistently and definitely on your own terms. What better way for you to promote yourself than for you promote yourself?
yes, and part of that too comes in when you start using your vulnerability, because we mentioned this a couple of shows back. There was a group that was always on that whole hashtag boss girl and all this good stuff. Then they came out to be that they weren't really like that. So them pretending to be vulnerable and trying to make it that fast, that quick money for themselves backfired. So you want to integrate your vulnerability in a realistic and believable way. It needs to be a part of what you are, your core, the values of your company. That's how your vulnerability gets integrated. That's how you use your vulnerability to really help you validate your credibility, that you can really even the moments that we go through and we're saying, you know what, this didn't work out, or maybe this is how it should be. All of that comes together. That's part of who you are. And when people are like, oh well, what's your brand, what's your brand, that's your voice. And your vulnerability is always going to be a part of your voice. Is going to be a part of that, a part of who you are as a core person, because that kind of builds into your business. If you're paying attention, you see that. Like, what do you stand for? What do you put up with? That builds into your business. So you got to be careful about how you're integrating that, and you want to make it as realistic as possible for yourself and others.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what you want to do. We've given you more value today. You should be able to you should be able to go to the moon with what you're giving you today. No, I'm just teasing. But in the essence of it, we've gave you a start point and a place to go. And homework is always necessary. You cannot get better without. You cannot grow without you delving in. There is no one that's going to give you all the answers to all the things that you want to do. So there's going to take some homework involved on your side, and there's going to take some investment of not only money but time in order for you to get things created. Yes, those things that you don't have to spend time on at some point in place, you're going to have to, what they call that, delegate that, outsource that to someone
Mhm.
else to do that, because there's always someone else that will willing to do some of the things that you don't want to do or you don't have time to do. So find those things that you already know how it should be, how you want it to be, outsource those things to someone that can help you. There's someone that can. I think I got a DM in my thing the other day. They told me they'd be my virtual assistants for 20 hours a week for $99 a month. So I was putting the time. I was like 20 hours a week. So there's 80 hours a week at $99 a month. There's 4 weeks in a month. I was like, that's a pretty good offer. You know what I'm saying? Because how much time am I going to spend in that 80 hours of doing some of the things I want? If I could pay somebody $99 to do that for me, in some sort of sense, of course, some homework is going to be done. I'm not just giving people stuff just because they said that price. But I mean, I'm just using that as an example. If those kind of things are something that you can outsource that out to someone, and then you start curating or cultivating your mind on some of the things that you want to dig into, some of the things that's more formidable for you, that you can sustain that and validate what you want to move forward in. Because this is really why we do what we do, right? We want it to be lasting, we want it to be essential, and we want it to be effective for someone else to be able to move forward in what they're trying to do. Because we're really all trying to help each other, right? That's the premise behind
That
it all.
part. That part. And before you go to, and always remember, you want to make sure that what you're doing, it matters, and it's for a purpose. I think that's what really helps us keep going. and make it through
Mhm.
the hard times, because everything is going to change. Never build a website thinking this is it, I can move on and I don't have to look at this again. Absolutely not. If you learn anything about today, you learn that part of you creating this website and building your sustainability is to make sure that it's growing with you. It's building with you. As you evolve, your site should evolve. Never ever allow people to steer you away from creating a plan and making sure that that plan is based on the foundation that you are building your business off of. You want to build something successful. And the last thing I would ever want you to do is invest in a site that you don't use. What's the point of that? So listen to folks that if you hiring us, please listen. If we saying to use something, I'm not telling you to do something I didn't do. I have over 130 blog posts. 130. And I always looking back at my analytics, and I always tweak my blog posts to see, how can this get better? How can that get better? And a couple of them have hit number one on Google. And I got the analytics for that. So I see that how things are working. It helps, it works, it's valid. So that's the one thing that you want to do. You want to take action. Part of that, build your game plan. Get that strategy together so now you can always know why are you driving people to your website. It's not only to build your email list. It's not only to get their phone number so you can text message them. It's so you can build a rapport and know that every time you create something, it's going to allow them to see your growth, and it will allow them to see their own growth as well. Any last words, my partner?
No, you said it all. We gave y'all a mouthful today. Let me tell you, I even got more educated, as they say. I learned, I learned some greater things and great participation from the audience. We appreciate you guys as always.
Yes.
Thank you for chiming in, Rory. We appreciate you. Yes, Yolanda,
It's been
we
so
are here to help
long,
each other.
Rory.
Yeah,
That's right.
it's been a minute. Rory joined us from South Africa. We're across the globe this morning. And Yolanda out there in Cali, we thank you for getting up early this morning, checking us out. For all of
Yes,
y'all
yes.
come by, Diana, everyone. You start mentioning names, so they say in the church.
Nicole, yeah, you don't want to
Start
miss
mentioning
nobody.
names. Start mentioning names. You miss people. People get mad. I want to thank you all for
Oh,
coming out this
Florence
morning. Yes,
and
and
Dr.
shining
Dr.
it does. Dr. Alex, always in the house. But we want to thank you guys because, like she said it earlier, knowledge is power, and
Yes, yes.
with us knowing what we know and being able to share it with you guys is it's an honor. It's an honor to do that. So we thank you so very much for chiming in, and we hope you guys have a pleasant weekend because we appreciate you guys. Be safe, be safe, be safe because
Yes, let's
you
dance
really
out to this. Let's
you really got to be safe. No matter where you're going, it's always something. But be safe on this weekend. We want to see you guys next week. And until we see you next
Yes.
week, guys, deuces.
Peace.